Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something that makes a lot of axolotl keepers nervous. A complete deep clean and rebuild of the tank. Yes, I tore down my whole setup, drained the water, scrubbed everything, and built it all back up. And here's the important part. I did it without losing the nitrogen cycle. So in this video, I'll walk you through step by step how to safely deep clean your axolotl tank, protect your bacteria, and get your axolotls back home stress-free. Stick around till the end because I'll also show you how Pharaoh, Mario, and Cecilia reacted to their brand new sparkling tank. Let's go! Welcome to Spot On Pet Life. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one.
Step 1. Preparation. Before you even touch the tank, get prepared. Temporary home for the axolotls. I use a smaller tub with cool, dechlorinated water, some Indian almond leaves, and a couple of hides so Pharaoh, Mario, and Cecilia feel safe while I'm working. Water storage. I use 2 large IKEA storage boxes. Together, they hold exactly half of my tank's water, which makes saving and reusing the old water much easier. Tools. A fish net for fish, not axolotls, a small sieve for live food, sponges, and siphons. Step 2. The teardown. Start by removing ornaments, plants, and hides. Put anything reusable into buckets of tank water so bacteria on the surfaces don't dry out. Remember, beneficial bacteria aren't just in the filter. They live everywhere, on your decorations, in the substrate, and even on live plants. So the more surfaces you can keep wet with tank water during the teardown, the stronger your cycle will remain. Then, carefully move the axolotls into their temporary tubs. Remember, no nets. I always move Pharaoh, Mario, and Cecilia by hand. It's safer and way less stressful for them. Next, siphon as much water as you can into your buckets. You'll reuse this later to help jumpstart the rebuild. Normally, during a regular water change, you siphon water from the bottom to pull out leftover food and dirt. But in this case, we want the opposite. For a deep clean, take your saved water from higher up in the tank to make sure it's as clean as possible. That way, when we reuse it later, we're not reintroducing all the muck we're trying to get rid of. Step 3. Cleaning. Now the fun begins. Scrub the tank walls, rinse decorations, and replace any plants or hides that are too damaged. Warning, here's the important rule. Never wash filter media or decorations with tap water. Chlorine kills beneficial bacteria instantly. Always rinse with saved tank water. And don't overdo it. The goal isn't to sterilize the tank, it's to give it a reset while keeping the good guys alive. Because I had such a bad algae infection, my substrate needed some extra attention. Simple scrubbing wouldn't cut it. So I used hydrogen peroxide to kill off the algae. Here's why it works. Hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, breaks down into water and oxygen when it comes into contact with organic matter, like algae. That sudden burst of oxygen basically oxidizes and destroys the algae cells, while leaving no harmful chemicals behind. It's strong enough to clear the problem, but safe because it doesn't leave any toxic residue in the tank. This method has always helped me with smaller algae outbreaks in the past, but this time the bloom was stronger than ever. After a few treatments, I saw some good progress, but the algae just kept sticking on the synthetic underground. It settled well in the porous surface. The thing is, with hydrogen peroxide treatments, once the algae cells die, they break down into organic matter that actually becomes food for algae eaters. In fact, you could perfectly refill the tank at this point, and the algae eaters would slowly eat their way through the dead algae until you're left with a completely clean substrate. But that would have meant spending more days or weeks staring at an algae-covered tank. And honestly, I was kind of done with it. I already had the idea in the back of my mind to change the substrate anyway, so I decided to fully cover the bottom with axo-gravel. This not only hid the algae completely, but by blocking all light from reaching it, the algae underneath slowly breaks down on its own. The great thing about this method is that if I ever want to go back, I can simply remove the axo-gravel and my synthetic panel will be good to go again.
Step 4. The rebuild. Once everything's clean, it's time to rebuild. For this new setup, I decided to go with axo-gravel as my substrate. Let me explain why. Normally, gravel is a big no-go for axolotls because they can swallow it while feeding, which can lead to deadly blockages. But axo-gravel is different. The pieces are small enough to pass through safely if swallowed. And in my case, my axolotls are already large enough that it's not really a risk. Pharaoh and Mario are both around 30 centimeters long, and Cecilia is about 20 centimeters. That said, I wouldn't immediately recommend axo-gravel for juveniles, since they're much smaller and more likely to accidentally gulp down too much. Another special thing about this substrate is that it's purposely disinfected, so even if an axolotl eats it, it won't cause any problems or safety issues. It's designed to be completely pet safe. After laying down the axo-gravel, I repositioned the ornaments, hides, and plants, then added back as much old tank water as I could, topping it up with fresh, dechlorinated water. It really felt like setting up a brand new tank, but with the added bonus of all that preserved bacteria working behind the scenes. Step 5. The filter and nitrogen cycle. This is where most people make mistakes. The filter media is where the majority of your beneficial bacteria live. If you keep it wet in old tank water during the clean, your cycle will survive. Think of these bacteria as your invisible cleaning crew. 24/7 janitors breaking down ammonia and nitrite. If they die, the whole system collapses. So never let the media dry out and never rinse it under the tap. And this is also where having a canister filter makes a huge difference. A big canister has so much space for filter media that it can hold a massive amount of beneficial bacteria. That's what allows this whole deep clean method to work without crashing the cycle. Smaller sponge or waterfall filters just don't have enough surface area to carry the same bacterial load, so they're far riskier in a full teardown like this. Step 6. Reintroducing the axolotls. Now the moment of truth, putting your axolotls back home. If you are tubbing your axolotls right, as you should, the water temperature should be exactly the same as your freshly filled tank. If that's the case, continue and gently release them back into their home. Pharaoh went straight for his cave like nothing had happened. Mario bulldozed a few decorations, of course, and Cecilia explored every single corner like it was brand new. That's how you know they feel comfortable. Straight back to their quirky personalities. Step 7. Aftercare and monitoring. The work doesn't stop once the tank is rebuilt. For the next week, test your water daily, feed lightly to avoid ammonia spikes, and watch your axolotls for signs of stress. If the tank doesn't seem fully stable yet, you can add a little bacterial boost to help it settle faster. Actually, I recommend always doing this after such a major deep clean. This can sometimes cause a bacterial bloom where the water turns cloudy for a few days or even weeks. You'll notice this in some of my videos too. But don't panic. That's perfectly normal and it's completely safe for your axolotls. It just means the beneficial bacteria are multiplying quickly to balance your system again. And here's an important tip. During a bacterial bloom, avoid water changes. If you change the water, you'll also be throwing away a big part of the bacteria that's just been created. Instead, closely monitor your water parameters. As long as you don't see spikes in ammonia or nitrite, there's no need for a water change. If those spikes do happen, then you can step in, and a quick fix like Detoxol can help stabilize things again. In that case, it's worth adding a bit more bottled bacteria. For me, just one of these bacterial shots was more than enough. And that's how you deep clean and completely rebuild your axolotl tank without losing your nitrogen cycle. It looks scary at first, but with the right preparation, it's totally safe. If you found this helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more pet adventures, and hey, check out my other videos on everything you need for an axolotl tank setup for all the gear I use, complete axolotl care guide where I cover water quality, feeding, and health in more detail, and stay tuned for a future video where I'll dive deeper into how to start a nitrogen cycle completely from scratch. Until next time, keep your water cool, your worms wiggly, and your axolotls happy. See ya!